The headboard's a huge thing for me. Determined. No, that's cool. That's fine. Okay, cool. So you're gonna have to really like bear with me here. Hello and welcome back to another episode. If it's your first time here, my name is Technisha Lachey, and if it's not your first time here, thank you so much for coming back. In today's video, we're mixing two of my greatest loves. Many of you know, books have been a long time friend, cherished place in my life, in my heart, but film is on the other side of that. I love film, I love cinematography, I love the different form of storytelling, and so we're mixing those two loves with a new sort of thing that I will be doing on my channel. We will be doing a how I would adapt, and in today's first episode, I wanted to do the Song of Achilles because I truly am passionate about it, but I was so stressed on being like, what if it's not right? So in today's, we're doing something really fun. We're going to do how I would adapt Colleen Hoover's Verity. So I have lots of notes and highlighters and a casting. I will just, before I get fully into it, I'm going to read the back of this, sort of give the experience of how I read it, and then I'll do how I adapt it, like literally from like the format to casting and episode breakdowns. I'm really excited. Verity by Colleen Hoover is a psychological thriller that I literally read in a day because I couldn't put it down. And many other people who've read the book also read it in a day because the deeper you get, the more twisted it is, and the ending is the most twisted of all. So it's just an awesome read, like a really great experience. And honestly, I hope Colleen Hoover continues down this road. I personally prefer it now to her other writing. It's just like so enthralling. I mean, I literally couldn't put it down. It was crazy. I like begged coworkers to read it, and my mom, she didn't read it yet, but I need to know everyone's opinion on the end. We'll read the back as always. Loan Ashley is a struggling writer on the brink of financial ruin when she accepts the job offer of a lifetime. Jeremy Crawford, husband of best-selling author Verity Crawford, has hired Loan to complete the remaining books in a successful series his injured wife is unable to finish. Loan arrives at the Crawford home, ready to sort through years of Verity's notes and outlines, hoping to find enough material to get her started. What Loan doesn't expect to uncover in the chaotic office is an unfinished autobiography Verity never intended for anyone to read. Page after page of bone-chilling admissions, including Verity's recollection of the night their family was forever altered. Lauren decides to keep the manuscript hidden from Jeremy, knowing its contents would devastate the already grieving father. But as Lauren's feelings for Jeremy begin to intensify, she recognizes all the ways she could benefit if he were to read his wife's words. After all, no matter how devoted Jeremy is to his injured wife, a truth this horrifying would make it impossible for him to continue to love him. It's insane. At the bottom says a standalone romantic thriller. It is not romantic. Yeah, in case it isn't obvious from like sort of the outline of this video, this will be all spoilers. I'm gonna be doing certain quotes and the full breakdown of the book from beginning to end. So like settle in, get a drink, get a snack. Therefore, I really loved this and I read it in a day. And so it gives that bingeable feeling, which is why I think this would be best adapted into a limited series. I think it would really shine there. A film would cut too much out and you would go on this roller coasters, but not feel the effects like chapters. Like each time a chapter ended, especially if you were in Verity Crawford's, you'd be like, what the F? And so I think it would really benefit from a TV series, a limited series. A movie would just gut it. My notes that I did, I have 5-episode limited series. I don't know why I felt the need to go this far, but I put that it would do best on Prime Video, Hulu, or Netflix. So here are the notes, pages 1 and 2. I definitely should have highlighted more. Let me just 1. It is super exciting and I had so much fun doing this, so I hope that you guys enjoy this because I plan on continuing to do stuff like this on this channel. The back is completely right. We're starting off with Loan. She is not a successful writer and it starts off with like a big splat. There's someone gets hit by a car and the blood gets on her, all like a fever dream. Like you really start out being like, what the heck, which I loved. Like it just grips you. Yeah, big splat. gets the offer of a lifetime to finish a book for a famous author, Verity Crawford, and definitely wouldn't call it a romance. Like for me personally, episode 1. All right, put here the beginning, the theme song. I swear for most of these I have a theme song in mind, but weirdly I woke up with the Walking Dead sound in my head. And it can't get it out, so I cannot really think of one right now, but definitely very like plucky, like if you listen to violin plucks, like very, you know, and then with a little bit of strings. And I would love for there to be a single ant like crawling and seemingly searching for something, you know. We'll see how that works, but definitely the single ant, a window, and then the frames would just have to change and you'd be in the house and it'd be like page after page. And that would sort of be the opening. Okay, so episode 1 would be chapters 1 through 4. I want it to be around an hour 30 minutes, and it would start with the big splat. Okay, it would start like exactly where the book starts, with blood, and you'd hear like, oh, I wonder if that was good, because to me it sounded good. The bathroom, Jeremy getting a fresh coffee and leaving, and then it would go back to her talking about how it was the first time leaving her house in weeks because her mother has passed. This is literally all spoilers, so again, I mean, stay for the vibes. I'm happy you'd stay, but if you would like to read it, and I'd love for you to read it, then go get it from your library, wherever they sell Colleen Hoover books. Get it, borrow it. One thing I did kind of want to play with was, because to me, first of all, let me just clearly say this, everybody in this book is crazy. I don't care, Crew was crazy. Verity, Lowen, Jeremy, I don't trust any of them. So I almost want to lean more into Lowen's mental instability. I feel like the book sort of like touches on it, but Verity's seen as like the biggest, you know. We'll get into that. My idea was that maybe in the bathroom, that guy who takes her away ends up being Jeremy. We all know that as the readers who read the book and stuff, but what if she like kind of didn't see his face and they had this whole conversation and she's in a state of shock, and then later on when they're in that meeting and he's the husband of the author, we're all like, it comes into frame and then it shows her clearing her face, like, you know, the lens would clear and we'd see that it was Jeremy too, which would feel kind of weird for us, because the thing about this book is super exciting, crazy, kind of creepy feel about it, but like really shit doesn't hit the fan until later. So I think it would be interesting to more lean in on like everyone's. And so I would do chapters 1 through 4. It'd be like an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes long. I put the splat, bathroom, Jeremy, flashback, ants alone. One of the first things that really stuck out to me was Lowen being like that she was staring at an ant, and it was weird to her because ants are alone. A lot of this will also be me like going into my notes. It says here, after, you know, it goes to the flashback after the big splat, the ant was alone, fluttering left and right, up and down, searching for food or friends. He seemed confused by his solitude, or maybe he was excited for his newfound freedom. I couldn't help but wonder why he was alone. Ants usually travel with an army. She compares herself to the ant and says the fact that she was curious about the ant's current situation was a clear sign she needed to leave. She was worried that after being cooped up, caring for her mother for so long, she would be just as confused as the ant. Left, right, inside, outside, where are my friends, where's the food? I don't know why it stuck out to me, but it really did. Like Lowen's mental immediately, just the whole reaction to death and how she sees other people. I was like, Lowen is different, and it is set in New York City. I would stay with that because it's very shortly in New York City, and you know, might as well. Plus she quotes stuff about Manhattan, like New York all the time. It says Manhattan, anything and everything a person could possibly need can be delivered. It also said earlier in the bathroom, most people come to New York to be discovered. The rest of us come here to hide. Another important character thing. All right, so yeah, chapters 1 through 4, the ants, and then I would have the offer in Act 1 in episode 1, and then the meeting, the surreal meeting, the offer, the drive, her mental on the drive, weird, isolated, nice home. She says, my mother used to say that houses have a soul. And if that's true, the soul of Verity Crawford's house is as dark as they come. Oh, and then I put Crew's creepy ass. I'm telling y'all, this kid was one of the most alarming things for me. I don't know why, but for me personally, I have trust issues with Crew. I know he's a little kid. Don't care. Don't trust him. So yeah, there's Crew, and that would be the end of like Act 1. That's episode 1. I feel like it'd be really good to get to the house, to have that jump scare when he's at the window, because I know I was like, really? And I was like, immediately the first thing that set me off, like not trusting Crew. Actually, that's a lie. I'm sorry. I wrote it under here and I tried to highlight, but I didn't focus on it. So Crew's creepiness, I would have be like the last 10 minutes, last 7. I wanted to feel like time's running out right before we get to the big thing. And then it would be her seeing the house. Oh, so nice in here. Oh my God, what a lovely home. Blah, blah, blah. Gets to the office. And then we get to So Be It, which I put, if you all class, if you like to open your books to page 61, So Be It would be the very end of the first episode. And a lot of these I really want to start with Lowen and end with Verity. There's a reason for it. I'm so excited. So Be It by Verity Crawford. And it would be the whole author's note with the autobiographies. I think that was when I was really like, what is about to happen here? Like, stuff's getting crazy, build up, tension, all these things. Series would be like narrated by Lowen, and half Lowen and half Verity. Also, the thing is, I do want a like mirrored, I don't know what this effect is called, but you see how there's like one girl, two girls. I always assumed that this was like the manuscript versus book. Any differences to see if I'm like right, but I think all of this book is up to interpretation, which I love and would be really cool for a TV show. Drive up to the house nearly the end of the first episode. Crew scares, get in the house, sees the headboard. I'm pretty sure she sees the freaking headboard. Very strange. Last 3 minutes would be her being like, I need to see how Verity's mind works, knowing that it's not a part of that book because it seems personal and it says that it's an autobiography. Yeah, she's like, she rationalizes that she needs to get inside Verity's mind, and then we follow her to the couch, make herself comfortable, and begin to read So Be It by Verity Crawford. I'm just gonna read it because this was a moment where I was like, whoa. And I feel like at the end of an episode, the first episode, it would be the craziest will ever. Author's note: the thing I abhor most about autobiographies are the counterfeit thoughts draped over every sentence. A writer should never have the audacity to write about themselves unless they're willing to separate every layer of protection between the author's soul and their book. The words should come directly from the center of the gut, tearing through flesh and bone as they break free. Ugly and honest and bloody and a little bit terrifying, but completely exposed. An autobiography encouraging the reader to like the author is not a true autobiography. No one is likable from the inside out. One should only walk away from an autobiography with, at best, an uncomfortable distaste for its author. I will deliver. What you read will taste so bad at times you'll want to spit it out, but you'll swallow these words and they will become a part of you, part of your gut, and you will hurt because of them. Yet even with my generous warning, you're going to continue to ingest my words because here you are, human, curious. Carry on. And that would be like, for me, I think I wrote it here too. The end of episode 1. It would either be the end there or chapter 1, because I sometimes think back on the night I met Jeremy and wonder, had we not made eye contact, would my life still end the same? Because I was like, what do you mean? Like, it was so cool. And her chapters, Verity Crawford's chapters, are not very long. They're like 4 pages and it's like never enough. So actually, I'm going to revise that already. It would end with, and for a while I was, yeah, it will end with the I needed to please him, their whole meeting between Jeremy and Verity, the instant love, the attraction. I needed to please him. I needed to be what made him smile, breathe, wake up in the mornings. And for a while I was. He loved me more than he loved anything or anyone. I was his sole reason for living until he discovered the one thing that meant more to him than I did. I think that's a perfect ending. So episode 1, chapters 1 through 4 for Lowen, which I did write in here because it would be like easier for everyone, and chapter 1 for Verity. So 2 would start with a little recap of that, and I love the so be it, so we can narrate again. And now we're going to be hearing narration in Verity's voice, and then we go to chapter 5, and it would start literally like as chapter 5 does. And now you kind of get the idea how the layout would be, like past, present, chapter Verity's. I literally wrote like, yeah, the breakdown. Episode 2 would be chapter 5, for Lowen, chapter 2 called Darkness Ahead. She was addicted to him, taken by him, you know. Still their love, amazingness, beautiful, as I put here. I don't think I had any pages that I needed to specifically for this video. If I'm directing this film, this limited series, obviously would reread this whole thing and have like notes for everything. The headboard's a huge thing for me. Like I was sitting here overthinking the casting and stuff, and I was like, but what about the headboard? The headboard is so important to me that it's very weird. It's important though, because it's one of the things I think about all the time. Obviously, other than huge parts, but I'm always like, what did that headboard look like? I guess we'll find out. So yeah, I said that episode 2 would be a little shorter. It would not be an hour or 2 hours. It wouldn't be an hour and a half to 2 hours. It'd be more like 45 minutes to an hour. We're gonna see how we can fill things up, because obviously I don't have a script. I'm the director. I'm the visual, the storyboard person, okay? But there would be other people who do all the other cool stuff. So yeah, episode 2 is chapter 5 Lowen, chapter 2 Verity, chapter 6 Lowen, chapter 3 Verity, and then I put finish. So what I'll do is go and find out what chapter 3 is, because I want to make sure I feel good about that. No, I feel good about that, because as I said before, most of this will be starting with Lowen and ending with Verity, because you have to like creep, you know, like a little ant, and go deeper into the story. Yeah. Episode 3, I had to go to the next page. But in episode 2 would end where it says, "There's no light where we're going. This is your final warning, darkness ahead." Because that would make me come back like instantly. And then start again with Lowen. I think I'll put in the book. I feel bad writing in it, but like this is different, right? And finish episode 2, episode 3. Start with Lowen again, chapter 6 if you want to follow along. And yeah, we get chapter 6 of Lowen, chapter 7 of Lowen. I put the top here, shit hits the fan, and highlighted the pages. We do 7, her own suspicions, because chapter 6 is basic, but chapter 7 of Lowen is when she start of Lowen's attraction to Jeremy. Why was my face so disgusted? But seriously though, her attraction to Jeremy, that's kind of the start of all of it. Yeah, a lot of this episode is Lowen, because I basically, when reading this, was like, can we get back to Verity, please? And that's how other people need to feel. So yeah, we'll do chapter 6, and then we'll go to 7. She's suspicious, and her own crazy wrist story, because Lowen has this whole thing of like her mom being afraid of her, and that she used to be a very heavy sleepwalker, and then broke her wrist one time and didn't even know. Like, Lowen's also unstable. And I would add in the attraction. Crew cuts himself on a knife. And then we'll go back to chapter 4 of Verity Crawford. Chapter 4. Okay, chapter 3 of Verity Crawford's also in there. She's pregnant. Okay, so chapter 4 of Verity, and then chapter 5 of Verity. And that's where we'll finish. And then for those of you who don't know about chapter 5 of Verity, They Were Determined to Live is chapter 4. If you know, you know. Chapter 5. I know it seems like it would be exciting to have like the possible miscarriage, but we would just have to take a breather in between, because I feel like the end of chapter 5 for them could be still a really weird, twisted way to end it, because in the end, like, she never really did seem to care about these kids. So like, even that moment, as horrific as it is, we can have a pause and like want to go back and then finally go back and end it on the girls might have taken a lot from us by then, but his desire was one thing I knew would always be mine, because she's still like, that's how we would end episode 3. Episode 4 starts at chapter 12, where Lowen's like, this chapter's been the most difficult to continue reading by far. How could a mother sleep so soundly down the hall from her crying infants? It baffles me. She's callous. Start there and let me know if you really think that it would be end better on her trying to get rid of the twins. But I really wanted to start with Lowen, and there's a reason for that. So, we'll see. So chapter 4, it would have chapters 12, 13, 14, all in Lowen's point of view. And then it goes back to chapter 6 for Lowen. It skips to 9, by the way. Did anyone else notice that Verity's autobiography goes from 6 to 9? Because it does. Then we'll have 14, Verity Crawford again. Chapter 15 for Lowen. Skips to 9, Your Writing Matters to Me. And another thing, I have pages, so I'll go to them because I obviously highlighted them for a reason. All of this is episode 4. I apologize, I keep mixing up chapters and episodes, but you know, I'll get better. By episode 4, we're literally already this much in, so you know, and I would have the episodes get a little shorter, like 1's long, 2's a little shorter than that, 3's a little shorter than that, because like you're running out of time, and then the last episode could be like the same amount of time as the first one. Yeah, and I also would like to say, I haven't stressed enough that Jeremy really weirded me out. I did not trust Jeremy. He seems charming, and even when she describes him, she says he's attractive but looks like he doesn't want to be, and like he reads people really well, and he says things and does things that might have you thinking, what a lovely guy, but he also has actions and reactions that I'm like, you're not normal either. Anyway, so I said all that to say episode 4, yeah, their attraction finally fully buds. We think we see Verity move by that point. We see crew waving at the window. No one should be up there. A whole bunch of weird random stuff. All of that is going to happen. Yeah. And I put that chapter 6 would be here. Chapter 6 of Verity it's had been 6 months since they were born, and I still wish they didn't exist. And it ends with I slept very little that night, wondering what Jeremy would have done to me had he caught me trying to save Chasten from her sister. You're watching a master at work. Just kidding. For now. So I have episode 4 ending with fake pregnancy. Episode 4 ending with Lowen, because by page 242, Bestie is sunk, okay? By 242, this is when she's sleeping with Jeremy and she bites down on the wood in front of her. It says here, this is when, you know, stuff gets crazy, and that's where we're ending it with Lowen, because officially something has like switched. Something's turned. With Lowen and Jeremy being intimate and her deciding that she is literally going to make a deeper mark. So it says, I bite down on the wood in front of me. I can feel Verity's teeth marks beneath mine, different, unaligned with my own. I bite harder into the wood, determined to leave deeper marks than she ever did, determined to think only of Jeremy and me every time I look at this headboard in the future. That's when everything, I was like, what? Which is why the end of this will be ending, the end of episode 4 will end with Lowen for once and start with Verity. Lowen, but it will have the teeth marks and then her thoughts being, things aren't right in this house, and until he mistrusts that woman upstairs as much as I do, I have a feeling something else is going to happen. The other shoe is going to drop. After all, this house is full of chronics. The next tragedy is already long overdue. And that is the end of episode 4. Episode 5 is where we'll start with Verity's chapter 14, which is when literally the rest of this is the end of the series. So last episode, and it starts on page 250 if you want to, and it says, it's easy to remember everything about the morning Harper died because it only happened a few days ago. Yeah, the manuscript, end of film, end of book. Yeah, that's how I would set it up. This is a long video. I really do hope you got like water and a snack. Hear me out. Here's my casting of Verity. This is gonna be so cool and weird. I wrote multiple names. I personally didn't think of anyone when reading this, so I can't be like, oh my god, this is the perfect person. I'm down to hear all of your perfect castings for Verity. So for Verity, I put a couple people, and it's hard. Okay, so for Verity, I'm gonna put their pictures, pop them on here. Rachel McAdams and Jennifer Lawrence. Jennifer Lawrence is the one I feel most strong about. She looks like someone who's like successful and has this charisma. She's very charismatic in interviews and things. But like, I would love to hear her say the line like, "Don't judge me," when you first meet her, and like she's still in a dress and she's there to meet a rich man, and that whole meeting between her and Jeremy. I can literally see Jennifer Lawrence in it, and I didn't think of it until I started like setting up how I would do this. So I was like, actually, and I don't think I've seen her do roles like that. She's mostly done roles where she's like likable or a little off kilter, but Verity is to be like distrusted, but also at the end I need someone who people are like, no, let me argue for her. So I think Jennifer Lawrence. For Lowen, I put Elizabeth Olsen, another person who I don't think anyone would go, oh yeah, at first. But for me, Elizabeth Olsen, especially after Doctor Strange, she was like my favorite part about the Multiverse of Madness. She's okay with going in and being a little off kilter. And so she's someone who, like, even with her eyes and her face, is someone who you think is like a little different. And I think most people love Elizabeth Olsen, but I think it'd be really cool to put her in this like muted, dark movie where she's like this weird person who sleepwalks and, you know, likes this man, and we're worried for her, from Jennifer Lawrence's character from Verity, and then to me has to also feel like someone who's like very off kilter, because what the hell was she still doing there after like all the stuff that happened? As for Jeremy, I have such a long list of names for Jeremy, but the one who sticks out the most to me in this moment is Patrick Wilson. He's in a lot of horror films. He's so scared of it. The Conjuring. Even in The Conjuring, he's like this charismatic, kind, charming dude amidst all the horror, but I want to flip that. Like, I want him to be charming and someone who weirdly you find attractive. You just saw somebody die, but also is really weird. Like, Jeremy gave really weird vibes. Everyone did, but Jeremy has to have that thing of like, I want almost most people like, no, I didn't find him weird, but like, you should though, because Jeremy's weird. So that is my casting. I don't have a theme song, unfortunately. The Walking Dead is still looping, so if I think of one before I edit this and put it up, I will let you know. But it would have to be like made. I would definitely want it to be like a Plux, and you know, the Anne smiling family, except for the daughter who doesn't smile, and the scar, and yeah, that would be the Verity, directed by me, Taiklisha Lachey. I've taken up a lot of time. I don't regret it. This is so fun. I can't wait to do the next one. Let me know what other books you would like to see adapted by me, and how you would adapt them, and what episode you'd like to see next. And that's it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know manuscript or book for this. I'd also like to clear up, I would not clear it up. There is no guaranteed. If anything, I would throw more wrenches in there to make it harder to know if this was fact or fiction, because I love not knowing the truth of it. And normally I need the truth, but you know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you would like to see this TV show. I personally can see it in my head so vividly now. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. I definitely enjoyed making it. Wherever you are in the world, I hope you're having a wonderful day, evening, night, and life. And I'll see you in the next video.